with the Tampa Bay Lightning gaining their two previously missing elite goal scorers, Nikita Kucherov and their captain, Steven Stamkos, for the playoffs. Can they overwhelm the Florida Panthers' potent defense and win this playoff series? What do the odds makers say? How do these two teams compare? Is there really an unverified recording of the Lightning GM, Julian Brisbois, describing his playoff vision for the Lightning against Florida? Find out on this episode of Distant Lightning. Okay, the Lightning are back in the playoffs, looking to do a repeat cup win to maybe win a third Stanley Cup. I hope they do, obviously. Anyway, so let's take a look at what the odds makers are saying. So the Lightning and Panthers, really Tampa Bay Lightning, overall Stanley Cup odds are favored over Florida to win the Stanley Cup. But ahead of Tampa is the Colorado Avalanche, the Vegas Golden Knights, the Toronto Maple Leafs, and the Carolina Hurricanes. And in the Central Division, the Carolina Hurricanes is the mountain to climb. But first, Tampa's got to get through Florida. The odds makers do have Tampa beating Florida, but it's not by much, honestly. It's pretty close. I think, in the Central Division anyway, this is the playoff series to watch. I mean, the last game they played, how many fights were there? At least the last few games. This is a rivalry that not is in the making, it's made. And we're going to watch it tonight play out. It's going to be pretty fun. All right, let's do a team comparison. So in the standings, the Panthers did edge out the Lightning a little bit. They had 37 wins to the Lightning's 36 wins. Total points, the Panthers ended up with 79 to the Lightning 75. Their streak at the end of the season, the Panthers won 6 in a row. So they're running hot right now. And the Lightning lost 3 in a row. You could argue maybe they're running cold. I don't know. We'll see. Overall in the league, if you look at the top 10 teams, the Panthers did clinch a fourth position, okay, overall in the league, whereas Tampa's a little further down in eighth position there. What can we expect with the Lightning and Panthers series? So let's look at some player comparisons, okay? Let's start with the obvious, with this grudge match that's about to take place. Let's start with the muscle, shall we? So looking at the Panthers, they've got this authentic-looking Florida man guy, Ryan Lomberg. Key stats, he's a fourth-line left wing, stands 5'9" tall, 187 pounds. He has 67 penalty minutes, the most on the team, and no Stanley Cup rings. All right, let's compare that to the Lightning, who has the mayor of Florida, Pat Maroon, also known as the Big Rig. He's a fourth-line left wing, stands 6'2" tall, 233 pounds. He has 60 penalty minutes and 2 Stanley Cup rings, and maybe a third coming soon. For goal scorers, Florida's got Alexander Barkov. He's a top-line center. He has scored in the regular season 26 goals, totaling 58 points, and he averaged 20 minutes, 56 seconds time on ice, which is quite a bit. Compare that to the Lightning. Now, the Lightning have been missing 2 guys, right? So Braden Point has a top position on the Lightning from the regular season. Braden Point is a top-line center, has 23 goals, 48 points, and he averages 18 minutes, 26 seconds time on ice, so 2 minutes less than Barkov. But what about Steven Stamkos and Nikita Kucherov? Nikita Kucherov has not been with the Lightning all season due to some hip surgery he had, and Steven Stamkos left at some point, I don't know, he left like 20 games ago, due to some injury, and they're both scheduled to come back. Really, if you want to look at how effective they could be and what they can bring to the team in the playoffs, let's take a look at last season's scoring for them, where they both played nearly the entire season. Kucherov had 33 goals. Stamkos had 29. Stamkos, with his 29 goals, ended up with 66 points, and Kucherov ended up with 85 points. That's a lot of points, guys. I remember Coach Cooper called Nikita Kucherov one of the top 5 elite NHL players in the entire league, and he's coming back for the playoffs. The Panthers, in their 8 games against us, have played him 0 times this season. He is potentially an incredible secret weapon that the Lightning are going to put out there on the ice, and we'll see what happens. All right, let's look at playmakers. So these are players that get the most assists. On Florida, it's Jonathan Huberdeau. He's a second-line left wing with 41 assists and 61 points. Over on Tampa, it's actually a defenseman, okay? Can you guess? Victor Hedman. He has 41 assists, 61 points. Exact same numbers as Huberdeau, which is interesting. Huberdeau's a forward. Victor Hedman, though, came out that he's hurt and he's playing through some pain, maybe. And we've seen that in the last, 15, 20 games. He hasn't quite been himself. There's a lot of speculation what's wrong with Hedman, and certainly there is something wrong. So we'll see what happens in the playoff series. He's had a little bit of time off now. Can they patch him up for the playoffs? He's a super tough guy and one of the top defensemen in the league, so I'm hoping he can power through it. Speaking of defense, if we look at Florida's top D pairing, it's Forsling and Weegar, and they look strong. I mean, that's a very strong pairing with really solid numbers. If you look at their points totals, I mean, they're putting points up on the net. They've got a lot of time on ice, and their plus-minus is really good. So that's an easy top pairing to identify on Florida. If you come over to Tampa, Tampa's defense, their strength is a bit more distributed. And what you'll notice, you usually have a really good or elite D paired with maybe a non-elite D, I'll say. And that goes across all three pairings. But the top line definitely is Victor Hedman's, mainly because he's on that line and he's bringing all the stats home. Jan Rutta, though, his line mate, does have a very healthy plus-minus. He was high throughout the regular season before he got injured. Now that he's back, he's got a plus-minus of 12, second highest for the defenseman, right after Ryan McDonough. Goaltending. So let's face it, Tampa has arguably the NHL's number one goaltender, Andrei Vasilevsky. Well, not arguably, he is the number one goaltender. And Florida's Bobrovsky shows up at number 12. So Tampa has the better goalie for a single goalie, but Florida is blessed with two strong goaltenders. Tampa does not have that situation. So if we look at goalies, starting with Sergei Bobrovsky, some key stats there. In 31 games played, his goals against is 2.91 with a 906 save percentage. His backup, or maybe this guy will be a starter, Chris Driedger, in 23 games played, his goals against is 2.07 with a 927 save percentage and 3 shutouts. So which one is the better goalie? They seem interchangeable. This is a big strength for Florida. When you look at Tampa, Tampa can really only count on Vasi to carry the team. McElhinney with elite defensemen, Victor Hedman, Mikhail Sergachev, and Ryan McDonough in front of him, still can't seem to keep the puck out of the net. So that's a little bit of a problem. The only good news there is Vasi often says he likes to play frequently and keep playing. So maybe we just keep playing him and we slip McElhinney in there every once in a while to give him a rest only as needed. So we'll have to see what happens. Vasi played, I think, every game last playoff series to win the Cup, or nearly every game. So he'll probably repeat it. In 42 games played, the Big Cat has a 2.21 goals against and a 925 save percentage, and he is rated top goalie in the NHL. I managed to get my hands on an unverified recording, allegedly, of the Lightning general manager, Julian Brisbois. We think he's talking to John Cooper or someone else, describing his vision for the Lightning playoff series against Florida. Let's have a listen.
Johnny, it is me, Julian. Yes, oh good, you're ready for the playoffs? Okay, good. I know we have a few games to go, but I want to share my vision. Yes, it is about Kucherov. Oui. So yes, I call it my vision. I call it for the playoffs, starting with Florida, that shock and awe. What do you think about that? Yes. Shock and awe. Just wait till the Florida fans see Nikita back on the ice. It's going to be wonderful. You think he'll get a hat trick in his first game back? He could. Let's hope those Florida penalizers with all those penalty minutes trip them up a couple times, and if we go on the power play, it's in the bag. I'm calling it right now. It's in the bag. Okay, see you later, Johnny.
Okay, guys, thanks for tuning in to Distant Lightning. If you like this video and you want it to show up on your feed, click a like, click subscribe, and go Bolts. I hope the Lightning can win this first game, and we'll see you next time on Distant Lightning. Okay.